Not with the English words. That's why, because, you know, the.
Oh, it's totally fine.
Yes.
Yeah, that's one of those.
So once we get really good at this, versus once we get really good at this, versus 1, 2, and 3 form a round. Without the bridge, you can do 1, 2, and 3 as a round. Yeah, she does it with herself, and it's always easier to do a round with yourself, as we all know. Exactly, it's recording 3 minutes. I gotta go get my shofar before I forget. Good. Okay, I'll get it. There's the funky one.
That's what I mean, it's like, and he forgives, trying to forgive this lady. So anyway, this one. Oh yeah, that was. And you can tell they were periodically.
Yes.
They figured it out pretty quickly. You get kind of bored when you're waiting on the plumbing inspector. You can't go anywhere.
Hey, Andrea.
They say they'll be there.
They always give us ambiguous, sometime between June and,
I'm Sarah.
you know, I'm Molly. And I'm not
When I lived,
Valerie's.
when I went.
Oh, nice to see you.
Laser training. I lived in one inch, 2 inch, 3 inch. Which meant anything that happened on the floor.
Oh, I see.
And then one time I didn't buy it.
Pardon? Yeah, this is like the lowest in the bottom. I love it. Oh.
So I got. And the military.
Just
Oh, yes, you did. Well, I saw what's wrong with
So for everybody who's sitting down, there are 2 handouts that are on the back pew where the greeters sit, and there's a half page and a full page. So you're going to want each of those handouts, and you're going to want her book, or not, and those are in the foyer as you come into the sanctuary. Sorry? Excuse me, you're the one who gave me the list. I would have taken any list you gave me.
I usually sign up for some. I'm not
Yeah.
They're like exactly. I figured you would know.
One second.
Got nothing.
Hi, Molly.
I will bring it back.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
Too. she's reading, so she's reading. Oh, okay.
That's mine.
No, I forgot to check. Maybe for this one.
Yes. Or you can, well, you could do.
We can slide down if you want to come back here. I can go back there. I got one for Andrea. I saw her. She's downstairs.
Oh, I remember.
So again, as you come in, there's two handouts. You're gonna want one of each. One's a half page. The other is two-sided, full page. And so you're gonna want one of each. So Shabbat Shalom, everyone. I'm Rabbi Bat Sheva Appel. I'm interim rabbi this year here at Congregation Ahavath Beth Israel. And we're delighted that you're here for Shabbat. We have not quite started Shabbat yet, and that'll become important in a moment. During the Hebrew month of Elul, which is the month that leads up to Rosh Hashanah, which is the first day of the Hebrew month of Tishrei, it is customary to read the 27th Psalm on a daily basis and to use that as something that you might meditate on a daily basis during Elul. The most beautiful, I think, verse in that entire psalm is verse 4. You'll need your half sheet, and you'll see it says Achat Sha'alti, Psalm 27:4. My huge gratitude to our musicians, Sam Barrenter, Janet Kaufman, Petra Pollack, and Steve Pollack, who actually learned this because I said, would you pretty please? And they did. So, Achat Sha'alti, Psalm 27, verse 4.
Shabbat Shalom. By the way, this is pretty, so worked out just right.
Adonai,
invite you to stand. Please stand only to the degree that you are comfortable in doing so. And if you find that you stood up and it was more of a commitment than you want to make, please feel to be seated. Please feel free to be seated. I say that because I'm about to ask you to please stand. We sound the shofar every day during the Hebrew month of Elul, just like we recite the Psalm 27. It is considered an alarm, a wake-up call, a reminder of all the work that we need to do, both for the community and for our own personal selves, that work of cheshbon hanefesh, the accounting of the soul. Please repeat after me. Tekiah, Tekiah, Shavarim, Shavarim, Teruah, Teruah, Tekiah Gedolah, Tekiah Gedolah. Please be seated. I'm sorry? It's not a clappy kind of place. So, Shabbat Shalom to those who are joining us in person and those who are joining us virtually. Welcome to our Shabbat evening service. We are a diverse community that encompasses a wide range of backgrounds and experiences. We are using Mishkan Tefillah, which looks like this. And tonight, in addition, we have a handout that is a full page printed front and back. Thank you again to our musicians this evening, Sandy Behringer and Petra Pollack and Steve Pollack and Janet Kaufman. And there might even be a few other people who are invited up. And I'd like to remind you to please silence or turn off your cell phones, your watches, your things that make noise. Things that make noise that might remind you of things other than Shabbat. It's hard enough to get here and to immerse ourselves in Shabbat, so if there's anything that might pull you out of Shabbat, I would invite you to take a look now and just, kind of like double check. Okay. So, now I'm going to invite you to sit up straight in your seats, to put your feet flat on the floor. All of this is as you are comfortable in doing so. So sit up straight as you are comfortable in doing so, feet flat on the floor if you're comfortable in doing so. Uncross your arms if you're comfortable in doing so. And I'm about to ask you to take 3 deep breaths and to set an intention for Shabbat. 3 is the number of intention. Your intention this Shabbat could be just put down the lists and all of the things to do. Your intention this Shabbat, because it is Pride Shabbat, with our Pride Parade coming up this weekend, could be to use Shabbat, which is a foretaste of the world to come, to envision how the world could be. Your intention for the Shabbat could be just to experience the holiness of Shabbat. But with that said, if you're comfortable in doing so, close your eyes, take 3 deep breaths, and set your intention for Shabbat. Please join me in reading in the middle of page 124. May the door of this synagogue be wide enough to receive all who hunger for love, all who are lonely for friendship. May it welcome all who have cares to unburden, thanks to express, hopes to nurture. May the door of this synagogue be narrow enough to shut out pettiness and pride, envy and enmity. May its threshold be no stumbling block to young or straying feet. May it be too high to admit complacency, selfishness, and harshness. May this synagogue be for all who enter the doorway to a richer and more meaningful life. We continue on page 131 with Psalm 96. We continue on page 138, singing Lecha Dodi. we continue together in the English, page 145. Teach me, O God, a blessing, a prayer, on the mystery of a withered leaf, on ripened fruit so fair, on the freedom to see, to sense, to breathe, to know, to hope, to despair. Teach my lips a blessing, a hymn of praise, as each morning and night you renew your days. Let my day be today as the one before, bless the routine set in my ways. We continue on the facing page with the Chatzi Kaddish, the Reader's Kaddish. Yigdal v'yikadash shemei Rabbah. Amen. Ve'alma tivrach yirutei me'amid malchutei. V'chayet ol yom echad. V'chayet echol beit Yisrael. Bagala, u'vizman karim. V'yimeru amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevorach. Le'olam u'le'ol haya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar yitramam v'yitnaseh. V'yitqaddar v'yitaleh v'yithalal. Shmei kudsha b'richu. Le'elam mitkol birchata v'shirata. Tush b'chata v'nehemata. Dahiram de'alma. V'yimeru amen. We continue on page 146. I invite all who are comfortable in doing so to please rise. Please be seated. We continue on page 149 in the English. Please join with me. Whoops, hang on, my apologies. Yes, 149 at the bottom in the English. This is an hour of change. Within it we stand uncertain on the border of life. Shall we draw back or cross over? Where shall our hearts turn? Shall we draw back, my brother, my sister, or cross over? This is the hour of change, and within it we stand quietly on the border of light. What lies before us? Shall we draw back, my brother or sister, or cross over? Baruch atah Adonai, Amari Baravim. So you'll now need the handout that I told you, and on one side there's one long prayer, and on the other side there's two prayers, and you want the side with the two prayers. And please join me as you would like. You have loved the people Israel with a never-ending love. You have given us your Torah, laws, and statutes to guide us, so that our lives may be filled with holiness and happiness. We know that we must find ways to strengthen our faith and hope in you. Your Torah acts as our inspiration. Help us, O God, to find ways to renew our commitments as Jews. Teach us to feel proud of all of our identities. For you, Eternal One, made us as we are. We say, praised are you, source of all, who is the lover of the people of Israel. Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael. Blessed are you who loves your people, Israel. We continue on page 152 with the Shema. Please stand if you're comfortable in doing so. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Please be seated, and please join with me. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'kol levavecha u'b'kol nafshecha u'b'kol me'otecha ve'hayu advarim ha'eleh asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shiratam levanecha v'dibarta V'shitecha b'beitecha u'v'lechtecha b'derech u'b'shoftecha u'kumecha u'b'shartam le'ot al yadecha ve'hayu l'totafot b'neinecha u'k'tavtam al mezuzot beitecha u'b'yisharecha le'man tizkeru V'asitem et kol mitzvotai, v'yitem kedoshim Elohechem. Ani Adonai Elohechem, asher hoseti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim, liot lachem Elohim. Ani Adonai Elohechem, Adonai Elohechem. The middle of page 159. Sing the song of men and women joined in understanding and respect, the song of God's miracles, an earth protected and cherished, a gift for our children and the generations to come. The song of the land once ravished by war, now quiet and content, her soldiers home to leave no more, the song of a world redeemed, the song of peace. We continue on page 158 with the Song of Freedom. 160.
Ashkiveno, prayer for shelter.
On that same handout. This is also a prayer for safety. God, place me in a safe environment where I do not need to fear for my safety when I am with my significant other. Help me create a world where I can hold their hand, be affectionate, and love my partner without causing harm to my physical and emotional well-being. Keep me, my family, and my partner safe when our existence and love is tried by those who do not accept us and our lives. Baruch atah Adonai, haporei sukat shalom aleinu, ve'al kol amo Yisrael, ve'al Yerushalayim. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, guardian of Israel, whose shelter of peace is spread over us, over all your people Israel, and over Jerusalem. We continue on page 162 with the Shamru.
Shabbat.
We continue with the Amidah, the prayer that is said while standing. It begins on page 164. We're going to be on the even number pages for the first few pages. Then we'll do some additional prayers, and then you will have time for your own time of silence and inner reflection. Please rise as you are comfortable in doing so. Page 164. Adonai sevatayita uvia itehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu Imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzhak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Hayavadu Adibor Hanorah, El Elyon, Gomer Chasadim Tovim, Ve'onei Hakol, Ve'zoher Hasdei Avodim Ahot, U'me'geulah libnei bneihem, Le'man Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Ozer Moshiach U'Magin, Baruch atah Adonai, Magin Abraham, Ezrat Sarah, Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai, Mechayei Kol Atara Le'Hoshia, Morid Hatal, Mechalchel Chaim Bechesed, Mechayei Kol Berachamim Rabim, Somech Noflim Berofeh Koholim, Umatir Asurim, Umayeh Emunato, Lishenei Afar, Nichamocha Bal Geburot, Umito Melah, Melech Minit Umechayeh, Umatzmiach Yeshua, V'ne'eman atah l'chayot hakol. Baruch atah Adonai, Mechayei hakol. Atah kadosh v'shivcha kadosh, u'kadoshim b'kol yom ya'alehu chasela. Baruch atah Adonai, ha'el hakadosh. Please be seated. We continue on page 173 in the middle of the page, and we continue responsively by paragraph. Disturb us, Adonai, ruffle us from our complacency. Make us dissatisfied with the peace of ignorance, the quietude which arises from a shunning of the horror of the defeat, the bitterness and the poverty, physical and spiritual, of humans. Shabbat Adonai, deny to us the false Shabbat, which gives us the delusions of satisfaction amid a world of horror and hatred. Wake us, O God, and shake us from the sweet and sad poignancies rendered by half-forgotten melodies and rubric prayers of yesteryears. Make us know that the border of the sanctuary is not the border of living, and that the walls of your temples are not shelters from the winds of truth, justice, and reality. Disturb us, O God, and vex us. Let not your Shabbat be a day of torpor and slumber. Let it be a time to be stirred and spurred to action. Baruch atah Adonai, Mekadesh HaShabbat. We now pause for a time of silence and inner reflection, each of us in our own heart. You can do prayers, you can do meditation, you can just have the delight of sitting quietly with nobody pulling on you for just a moment or two. If you are going to follow the prayers, we're going to come back together on page 180.
Oseh Shalom, prayer for peace.
It is customary in our congregation at this point in our Friday night service to offer thanks for all the gifts and blessings that we enjoy for our celebrations and our simchas. I'd like to invite anyone who is here tonight who is celebrating or has something that they are especially grateful for to share their joy and thanksgiving with the community. So who has something to share tonight? Yes.
My daughter Elizabeth's birthday is today.
Your daughter Elizabeth's birthday is today. Happy birthday, Elizabeth. Okay, and? Yes.
My kiddo's in town for the weekend from college.
Ooh. We have,
Totally.
I'm sorry?
I embarrassed them totally.
It's okay. It seems to be one of the requirements of parenthood. So congratulations on having your kiddo in town from college. That's fantastic. Who else? Yes.
I got 100 on my spelling test.
You got 100 on your spelling test? How many of us remember the delight of the spelling test and when it went really, really well? Some of you have more recent memories than others.
Yeah, if you got to skip homework for the week, if you got 100 on your spelling test.
Aha, so congratulations on your 100 on your spelling test. Who else? Yes.
It's a beautiful day, I really enjoyed it.
It's a beautiful day and you really enjoyed it. Yeah, I did too. Yes.
I'm visiting from Canada, and I'm just grateful to be here with my daughter and grandchildren, and her husband too. But they're
So
not here.
welcome. We are delighted that you're visiting from Canada as well.
Thank you.
Anyone else? It's your first service. Well, welcome. We're delighted that you're here. Anyone else? Yes.
I'm celebrating, as many people, Pride this weekend.
Ah, you're celebrating Pride this weekend. That's a good thing to be grateful for. Okay, yes.
I'm finally done reading a specific book because it was giving me it was being a pain because there's still just that one character you could never remember.
Oh, the character that you could never remember that slipped into the pages of the book.
And I finished the test of called Wild today, so I don't have to do any more of that.
Okay, so you finished the test on a book, and you finished another book, and you didn't let that character that disappears vanquish you.
It was the same.
It was the same book. Okay, good. You know, I read more than one book at a time, so you know.
I like it.
Yes.
I am so grateful for all the nachas that my daughter Elizabeth gives to us.
There you go. All of the nachas, all of the joy, all of the pride that you get from your daughter Elizabeth, who's going to be our darshan this evening. Good. Anyone else? Okay. For all these things, Eternal One, Modim, Anachnu Lach. We give thanks to you, source of all. May we go from strength to strength, and may we always offer our abundant thanks for your many blessings along the way. And let us say, Amen. Now we think of those who are ailing or in care at this time. We ask for names of congregants and friends who are in need of healing. Those who are watching remotely, please say their names now. Is there anyone who's keeping somebody in mind for healing?
My daughter, Elizabeth.
Okay, your daughter Elizabeth, okay.
Richard Cordes and my sister Lisa found out today she's got cancer.
Oh my, oh my. And you were just talking the other week that you had gotten such good news.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
Move me through.
Jonathan and Lily.
My friend Pat McKenzie, who is back in Surrey right now, in British Columbia, and she's had 7 strokes, she's in hospital.
Dorothy, Sandy, Steve, Arlene, Art, Dave.
Sunday night, it's done.
You go.
Charlie Couch.
To those names I add Simon Rosenblatt, Sheila McLean, Ginger Schulman. Page 371 in your workbook. We are having Pride Shabbat because over the summer when we were talking about the calendar, and they were saying, well, Pride is September 15th. And I was like, wait, what? And they said, yeah, Pride is September 15th. I was like, oh, okay. Pride is September 15th. I said, so are we doing Pride Shabbat? And everybody was like, huh? And I said, let's do Pride Shabbat, the Shabbat before Pride, as a way of bringing pride into our congregation, even for those who are unable to join us in marching on Sunday morning. So Elizabeth Saunderson has volunteered to give the Devar Torah this evening, and I'm going to invite her up to the bima. She is the chair of the ritual committee. She is a member of our board of directors, and I am delighted to turn the bima over to her.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
In 1995, Joan Osborne released a song, What If God Was One of Us? It was the theme song for the TV show Joan of Arcadia. If you never watched the show, it was about a teenage girl who had unexpected conversations with God. And God appears to Joan as different people who give her tasks that improve the lives of others. The refrain from the song says, what if God was one of us? Just a slob like one of us. Just a stranger on the bus trying to make his way home. This song is talking about the Jewish idea of B'Tsello Elohim. We are all made in the image of God. And this idea comes from Genesis 1:27, God created humankind in God's image. At first, it seems rather straightforward and ties to the idea of treating our neighbors as we would be treated. But in truth, it can sometimes be hard to see the holiness of God in everyone we meet, especially when we encounter people whose bodies or lives are outside our comfort zone. People missing limbs who use mobility aids, people we judge to be too thin or too fat, people with skin or hair color that's very unusual or not as clean as we're comfortable with. In these cases, it takes work to train ourselves to not simply jump to judgment. But our Jewish values and world understanding should help us remember that we should not judge people on their different abilities, just as we shouldn't judge them on their skin color or ethnic origin. And while it can be more difficult, we can remind ourselves that they are just people like us. It becomes harder to see that we are all made in the image of God when we can't find a way to relate or understand a person we see as other, especially if the other is doing something we think is wrong. Many years ago, I had a student I will call Robin. Robin loved the outdoors, wanted to grow up to work with wildlife. She eventually went on to become a vet, and wore t-shirts and cargo shorts to school every day. It was the cargo shorts that turned out to be a problem for Robin's classmates, because she wanted pockets and loose-fitting, knee-length shorts. The easiest way to get those shorts was to buy them in the boys' section of the store. One of the 8th grade girls asked Robin where she bought her shorts, and Robin matter-of-factly said, "From the boys' department." The response was loud and instantaneous. The other girls all started saying things like, "Ew," and "gross." I teach middle school, by the way. Why would you wear boys' clothes? Robin was doing something with her choice in clothing that her classmates just saw as too different. In reality, clothing is an inanimate object, and it doesn't have a gender. But gender expression and gender identity are very personal things that we all do in a public sphere. We want to dress our bodies in ways that feel authentic to who we are, from hair and makeup to our underclothes. We all have preferences to what makes us feel good about us. And if our gender expression lines up with what the larger community sees as correct, we will never notice or have it called into question. But when a person's gender expression is outside of what the larger society, of we as a society, deem to be socially acceptable, many people still find it okay to judge others, to question who they are and what right they have to present in a way that might make other people uncomfortable. Then maybe we forget that they too are made in the image of God. There are people who struggle with changing social norms of dress, and they want to quote from this week's Torah portion, Deuteronomy 22:5. "A man must not put on women's apparel, nor should man wear women's clothing." But what does that mean? In the Haftorah for this week, we also read in 1 Kings 18:26, quote, "He tied up his skirts and ran in front of Ahab all the way to Jezreel." This is what was meant for a man to gird his loins, to tie up the long robes and skirts that men wore in ancient civilizations. So if we look at the Torah literally, should men as well as women be wearing skirts and long robes? A lot has changed over the millennia, and this includes fashion. Historically, in different parts of the world, both men and women have worn skirts, pants, tunics, wigs, stockings, high-heeled, fitted jackets, ruffles, and ties. There were times when men's clothing was more flamboyant than what women wore, and times women wore the more colorful apparel. While today, no one looks twice at a woman going to work in pants, 50 years ago, many companies had dress codes that didn't allow women to wear anything other than skirts or a dress with pantyhose in the workplace. Today, more changes are coming in dress and presentation. Harry Styles performs in his concerts in skirts and regularly wears a pearl necklace. Eddie Redmayne and his wife wore matching dresses to the Met Gala this year. Brad Pitt showed off his leg tattoos by wearing a skirt to the opening of his movie Bullet Train in Berlin. And for this stretching of social norms, they're put on magazine covers and written up in articles that say things like, "Kick it up, celebrate the Irish tradition of lovely legs with a look at our favorite celebrity men in kilts, skirts, and more." Or, "6 times male celebrities wore skirts like it was no big deal, smashing the patriarchy one pleat at a time." Yet this celebration is not the reception that many people receive when they wear clothing that others judge to be of the wrong gender. More people still get the treatment my student received so many years ago, a pushing away, an othering. They find themselves being questioned about their gender identity, their sexuality, or even worse, what their body is like under their clothing. Something that is absolutely no one's business at all. Is this treating others as we would be treating? A few statistics before I end. According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, suicide is the second leading cause of death among young people ages 10 to 14. The third cause among those 15 to 24. Those who fall under the queer umbrella, including trans, non-binary, and gender non-conforming youth, are 4 times as likely to attempt suicide as their peers. In a study of nearly 30,000 patients in the Northeast of the United States, 23% of trans women and 26% of non-binary individuals assigned male at birth reported feeling suicidal, 26%, compared to just 6% of cisgender men and women. Yet at the same time, a 2018 study found that trans and non-binary youth who had just one supportive adult, that they could be open with about their gender identity and their life, were 1/3 less likely to commit suicide. Today is the first day of Boise Pride Weekend, a time for everyone to celebrate how we are all B'Tsello Elohim, made in the image of God, a Jewish God who is both Avinu Malkeinu, our Father, our King, and Shekhinah, the divine feminine. We all reflect both the masculine and the feminine of God in one way or another, and we should all be allowed to dress our sacred bodies in ways that reflect our own hearts and minds' understanding of this balance. To quote RuPaul, "We are born naked, the rest is drag."
Kol hakavod. So nicely done, thank you. We continue now in our prayer books on page 586 as we begin to conclude the service, and I invite everyone who's comfortable in doing so to please rise. Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, l'teiktu al'yoser b'reshit, shelo l'sanu kiboyei aratzo, velo samanu k'mishkavot ha'am, velo samanu kahem, vego raleinu k'chol hamonam, va'anachnu korim, u'nishpachami u'motim, lifnei melech malchei hamlakim, hakadosh baruch hu. Please pick up your handout again and turn to the back where the title is Love Wins. One day the words coming out will sound strange. Oppression based on gender or orientation will be a memory. History to honor and remember, the pain of hiding, repressing, denying, honoring the triumphs of those who fought to be free, remembering the violence and vitriol that cost lives. When love wins at long last, ve'ahavta l'reacha kamocha, love your neighbor as yourself, will be as natural as breathing. Ve'ahavta l'reacha kamocha. One day love will win every heart, love will win every soul. Fear will vanish like smoke, and tenderness for all will fill our hearts. Ve'ahavta l'reacha kamocha. Love wins in the end, love wins. Man for man, woman for woman, woman for man, man for woman. All genders, all orientations, all true expressions of heart. Ve'ahavta l'reacha kamocha. Let this come speedily in our day, a tribute to the many and the diverse gifts from heaven, a tribute to love deep and true, each of us for one another. Ve'ahavta l'reacha kamocha. Page 591 in your prayer book. V'ne'emar v'haya Adonai l'melech al kol haaretz hayom hahu yireh Adonai echad u'shemo echad. Please be seated. At this time, we think of all those who have gone before us, those whom we remember and miss, those who we still mourn, and in the still silent places of our hearts. On this Shabbat, we are still in the period of Shloshim, the first 30 days of mourning for Lee Edge and Perry Packer. We also recall Shira Cronenberg, Harriet Barrenter, Maria Stern, Edward Levitch, Judith Tellman, David Thompson, Judith Garter, Marion Holmes, Alan Salzberg, Linda Tell, Myrna Herman, and Pam Human, who died in the past months. Are there others whose names you wish to mention?
Brenda Kelly.
My father, Michael Sutton.
Helen Horton.
John Barnett.
Diane Nelson.
And those who are joining us remotely, I invite you to say the names of those you are remembering now. And now I invite the mourners and all whose custom it is to do so to rise for Kaddish on page 598. Yit Gadal, Yit Kadash, Shemei Rabbah, V'alma Divrach Yiruteh, V'amlif Malchuteh, V'chayachon, V'yamechon, V'chayeh Kol Beit Yisrael, V'agalav V'bizman Kariv Yimru Amen. Yehei Shmei Rabbah Mevarach Le'elam Onei Omaya, V'yitbarach V'yishtabach V'yitta'ar V'yittromach V'yitnaseh, V'yitadar V'yitaleh V'yitalal Shmei Kusha V'rehu, Le'elam Min Kol Birchata V'shirata, Tushbechata V'nechemata, Ta'amiram Be'alam V'yimru Amen. Yehei Shlomo Rabbah Ben Shemaya, Yechaim Aleinu Ve'al Kol Yisrael V'yimru Amen. Oseh Shalom V'bronav, Hu Ya'aseh Shalom Aleinu Ve'al Kol Yisrael V'yimru Amen. We say Zichronam Livracha. May their memories be for blessing, and may peace come to all who are mourning. Please be seated. I think the big announcement is that we're marching in pride behind the Cabby banner on Sunday. The parade starts at 9. We're gathering at 8:45. I do not know the exact location of our gathering. Be in touch with Katie Herstein because she does. She's going to find out at 7 a.m. tomorrow, and then you can get the information from her. No, she's going to find the information 7 a.m. on Sunday, and then you can get the information from her because Pride is on Sunday. Sunday, the 15th, sorry. Please join us. We've got the Cabby banner, we've got Cabby Pride t-shirts, we've got things that we're gonna hand out, we've got candy that we're gonna toss. It's gonna be a festive day, and I keep looking at the weather for Sunday. It's gonna be glorious. It's really gonna be glorious. Just so you know, the second of the Elul teachings is happening on the 24th of September at 7 p.m. in the evening, in person here, downstairs in the library, yes?
Yes.
Yes, downstairs in the library, and it's being taught by our own Elizabeth Saunderson, and it's about repentance and repair. And there's a class coming up being taught by Brad Wolf on pickling, if I remember correctly.
That seems right.
There's a lot of jars.
It's okay, we're good. Slichot will be 2 weeks from tomorrow, so it's gonna be on the 28th. It's gonna be at 7 p.m. It's going to be here at Cabby. We're gonna watch a documentary entitled The Last Repair Shop, have a discussion, and then have a brief Slichot service. So that's all that's going on. My understanding is we have all sorts of visitors today, and some of you introduced yourselves already, but I'm going to invite anybody who's visiting us to stand up, say their name, and where you're here from. So anybody, and no, you are not required to do this. Anybody who would like to share, please do.
We're local, but my wife and I are here for the first time.
Welcome, and your name is?
I'm Corey, and my wife is Melissa.
Hello, welcome. Thank you.
I'm David Appel, I'm visiting from Seattle.
And the last name might give you an idea. Okay, and?
I told you I was from Canada, but I didn't give you my name.
Sure.
It's Gabrielle Lalonde, and I'm Danielle's mother.
Yay,
And I'm
okay.
from Surrey, British Columbia.
Wonderful.
I'm Karen Black, I was here last week and I'm just from Meridian.
Wonderful. We like having you here. And?
I'm Melissa. I'm Logan. We're from Twin. Green Saunderson brought us here.
That sounds like a great reason to be here. Welcome. Okay, we're concluding everything on page 625 with the singing of Adon Olam. Thank you again to Steve and Petra Pollack, Sandy Barrenter, and Janet Kaufman for being our musicians this evening. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Please join us just outside for Kiddush, rather for Oneg Shabbat. I think it's going to be very colorful. I just have that feeling.
Old affirmation.
Inspiring stories for amazing girls. I love it. Good to see you too.
Yeah, how's the month going?
Maybe.
Yes. Yeah, good. So were you able to figure out the thing or no? Not really.
I'm going to do it.
Okay. I just haven't heard anyone saying that they need to set up anything, so I haven't.
Right.
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 Okay, cool. Oh, good. I'm out of town this coming week, but I'll be checking with you.
Okay.
Thank you. It's just a work trip, so. Blue shirt.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So, yeah, she takes care of her. And then.
Oh,
my God, yeah, I know. Throughout. Just stop. You're gonna get. I heard about Holla. When is it Holla? When are they getting Holla? It's like just 30 minutes. Because in 30 minutes, you'll get it. Just stop. You're not getting it. Yeah, exactly.